This video is sponsored by Sketchfab. Sketchfab is the world's largest platform to publish, share, and discover 3D content on web, mobile, AR, and VR. With Sketchfab, you can publish, share, discover, buy, and even sell your 3D, VR, and AR content. Sketchfab provides you an online 3D viewer based on the WebGL and Web VR technologies, and this simply allows users and visitors to view content on mobile, desktop browser, and virtual reality headsets. And if you're wondering where next to publish and check out 3D content, go Sketchfab. Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to askNK. So today we're taking a look at Dimension 3.2 that has just been announced by the guys at Adobe. So we've talked about Dimension before, where we talked about the whole beautiful set of things that you can do with this tool, especially if you're into rendering and you want to also get your stuff moving from Photoshop over to a place where you can get proper 3D rendering, or you want to get a proper 3D rendering that you can plug over to Photoshop really quick and get some very nice designs out of the way. And we've also seen a whole lot of updates come over to this tool over a period of time, and it's pretty cool to say that today we're taking a look at a couple of cool features that they've implemented in the new version of Dimension 3.2. Although these features are not so much, but they are very worthy of talking about, and we're definitely going to do that. So if you want to get into 3D rendering and you don't want to spend all that excessive amount of time, then Adobe Dimension is probably the best tool for you to actually get started with. Of course, you can make use of tools like Keyshots and all that, but if you're not so much into the 3D space where you get to spend tons and tons of time trying to tweak things and get things up and running, you don't want to deal with the technicalities, and maybe you're just a creative person that loves working only with Photoshop and very light tools, then you should consider taking a look at Dimension. Since Dimension is one of those beautiful tools that is plugged into the Adobe Creative Cloud, and it has a very wonderful handshake with Adobe Illustrator and also Photoshop. So the cool improvement that they've added to this tool right now is 3D text and also primitives. So what I mean by this is they've gone ahead to add 3D text-based systems into Dimension. Of course, this looks very, very basic if you're coming from, some very high-end 3D apps, but considering this as a rendering app and knowing fully well that you can now bring in your 3D text, or you can now create 3D text directly inside this tool, is definitely something I'm going to applaud them for. I've taken a look at a couple of 3D engines, and creating 3D text is one of the things that they get to shy away from, and it's pretty cool to see that instead of going over to a DCC app, create your 3D text and bring them back in, you can literally create them directly here. And this is not the only thing which you can do with a tool like this. You can still choose to make some beveling and also tweak your text depending on what you want to get. So bevel is also another cool feature that they've added, which means you can now assign materials, extrude those materials, and also proceed to start beveling them using different kinds of modifiers and choices that they've also made available. So the bevel feature right here also comes with a couple of profiles that you can pick from, but one thing which I really felt I would have been able to play with this brand new tool is the ability to actually tweak the bevel the way I want it. Of course, this is still in its early stage, and definitely there may probably be an update about this soon, and it's definitely cool to see that a tool like this actually has a feature that would save you the round trip that you need to do to your DCC app and back. And speaking about the new features and stuff that you can find with the new Dimension 3.2, there is basic primitive shapes that are very or highly customizable that you can work with. Parametric primitives that include cube, plane, sphere, cone, torus, cylinder, and so on and so forth are things that you can find here. So with that said, you can definitely see that Dimension is actually a tool that you can literally just dive right in and start playing with. So if you're trying to get into 3D, or you're just someone that's wondering what rendering engine that they can make use of that supports GPU and also CPU rendering, Dimension is definitely a wonderful tool for you. I kind of think that a lot of people kind of downplay this tool, or look down on it just because it's from Adobe, but there is just a huge potential with a tool like this that you can work with. Of course, we've also seen the guys from Substance talk about some sort of idea for integrating Substance with Dimension, which would typically make it their primary lighting and rendering engine, since there is no talk about them implementing extra lighting features except the HDRI light in Substance Painter. And with this, there with features like getting 3D primitive objects and also relighting your objects the way you want them, texturing them with pre-designed textures, and also HDRL lights with inclusion of things like 3D primitive text that is now available in this brand new tool. I definitely see a huge future with Dimension coming very soon. So with Adobe Dimension open right here, what we're going to do is simply create a brand new project. So we're going to take a look at the text and also the primitive object that has been added and how you can proceed with customizing these things. So first things we are going to play with is the basic shape. Of course, there's a couple of models which you can simply play with. If you want to get into visualization or product visualization, then this tool has a huge set of things that you can start off with. We're going to proceed by clicking on the text so that we can play with the text and see what they've added right here. From here, you would notice that we have a parametric gizmo which has, you know, the rotate, scale, and also the transition attached to it. So I'm just going to raise this all the way up, position this right here, and by the right hand side you would notice that right here we have the text. So we can choose to change the text as we want. So for this, I'm just going to call this askNK, and right over here you can choose to change the font type. So from this part we can choose to change the font type. I can actually go for a font that has to do with Montserrat, since this actually takes all the fonts that you have directly on your computer and you can simply make use of them right here. You can also choose to play with the depth. So depending on what you want to get, you can play with the depth. And if you simply want to make changes to this text, you can actually go through the properties that is right here and make those changes that you want. And next thing which we want to take a look at is the bevel. So if you simply click right here, you can actually activate the bevel, and you can notice that there is a couple of presets that you can simply work with. There is only one problem I have with the bevel, which simply has to do with the bevel not happening on the other side of the object. So right here you can only notice that the bevel happens over here and the bevel doesn't happen here. You can play with the angle, you can choose to play with the presets right over here, and you can also get some very interesting stuff happening for you. You can also choose to repeat this as many times as possible. So depending on how much time you want to get a repetition, you can actually do this. You can simply start making some graphic design right in the renderer without even going to a 3D app whatsoever. So this tool was originally built for designers that wants to do 3D rendering, but with the way this is going, it looks more like they're expanding this tool for everyone to be a part of it. So now that I've talked about the text, let's proceed to talk about the material. So right here, if you simply select the object which you want to work on, you can go over to the section right here and you can change the material. For some reason, the material is supposed to change based off individual faces, based off the back, and also for the bevel. But it simply turns out that once you go over to change the material and you simply choose the color instead of the image, whatever material that you assign to these or whatever color that you choose to assign to one section actually replicates across the other ones as well. So this is also something else that I really, think that they should take a look at, which I don't know if it's a bug or if it's something that they've just intentionally kept the way it is. So with this done, the next thing which we need to do is to talk about how you can work with the geometries that they have right here. So with the geometries, by simply dragging one all the way out, which has to do with the cube, if you tap F on the keyboard, you can use this to frame. You'll notice that it does have the same bevel feature that the other primitive text actually has. The bevel feature that it has right now has to do with radius that you can play with. So you can simply choose to slide this all the way down or simply make a rounded object that you can continue playing with. And if you're into rendering 3D models, you can definitely download free 3D models from Sketchfab, and a huge thanks to Gen Macro for making this one available. You can download Sketchfab files from OBJ, GLTF, USD, and also FBX. And with this downloaded, you can simply load them directly into Dimension and have a wonderful time rendering this. Except for the node-based system that doesn't exist with Dimension, I see Dimension as a huge counterpart alongside with tools like Keyshots and also the Maverick renderer. And before we go, if you want to join the April challenge from Sketchfab, you can simply go over to the link which I'm going to put in the description, where you can join the April challenge and win some amazing prizes. And the prizes include a $100 Amazon card, 6 months Sketchfab Plus account, and so much more. So simply join this one right now and win for yourself some very cool stuff. And submission deadline for all of these is going to be on Monday, the 27th of April 2020. So simply go over to the link which is in the description, learn how you can get these things going, and get started with this. Tell me what you guys think about this in the comment section. And of course, if you want to read more about this, link is going to be in the description to the blog. And if you want to find out more about the things which you need to know about Dimension, you can also check out a previous video which we talked about Dimension and also a couple of things things about that. And as well, if you want to get a trial version, you can also go over to the link in the description where you can download a trial version. I would like to know what you guys think about this in the comment section. And of course, if you like this video or you learned something from this, you can go ahead and give it a like, and don't forget to share with a friend. And if you're new here, it's going to be amazing for you to hit the subscribe button and also turn on notifications so that you don't miss the next video or the next updates. And until I see you guys again with a tutorial update, Free Friday, Tutorial Tuesday, tips and tricks, things like this. Peace.